Trump has supposedly got us a ceasefire deal. He's the great peacemaker between between Hamas and Israel. And there's been quite a stir. There's a lot of reactions. A lot of people have said. I think the best take of it was from I think it was Pod Save America. And theirs was 2 statements can be true at the same time. We are excited and happy that there's a ceasefire. We are also really skeptical that it will be as they
Understandably.
say. What they say will happen. So I think that's pretty much what everyone's general feelings are of wanting to be happy and excited, but also being realistic and saying, we've seen this before. And say what you want about Trump. I don't.
Fuck 'em.
Yes. Yeah. So let's start. There's quite a few things that happen in this situation. We've had the Kiwis that were detained by Israeli forces. Israel brought back to arrived in Auckland this afternoon. So we'll run through the story, and then there's a few comments that they said because obviously they've been traveling, I think, for like 42 or 48, 72 hours straight. So they hadn't really caught up on the news, but I'll show you. It didn't make it into this story, but I'll play a wee clip afterwards of their reaction to some of the things that might have been said here while they were detained. Some live reactions and some live comments from them.
There has been an emotional homecoming for the 3 New Zealanders who were detained by Israeli forces while on board a flotilla bound for Gaza. Rana Hamida, Yusuf Samoa and Samuel Leeson were intercepted in international waters last week and deported from Israel to Jordan. The trio arrived to cheers and chants of support at Auckland Airport this afternoon, embraced by family and friends as a haka welcomed them home.
It's nice to be home, guys. We're so exhausted. We're so sleep deprived. It's literally been from one place to another. 2 days ago, we got out of essentially a dungeon for 6 days. We were treated like crap, to be honest. We were treated like animals.
It was a demonstration of what violation of humanitarian law is.
So they could spit on us, which they did. They could point shotguns in our face, which they did. But they realized that they couldn't physically hurt us to a point where it would cause an international outcry.
It was amazing to finally feel safe again, feel like my life wasn't at risk anymore. It's been definitely a long month.
The genocide is still ongoing, even though there's a tentative ceasefire deal that I've been seeing in the little time that we've had to read the news. But no, it's time to mobilize more than ever. We're already planning the next flotilla. Hopefully we won't need to, but if the situation is as it is, then we're definitely going to be going again.
Israel deported another 170 activists from the global Samud flotilla, including Greta Thunberg.
Love the name drop at the end there.
Greta Thunberg. So that was the one. The 3 news story. I do want to play this wee clip though from the 3 of them at the airport this afternoon in some more candid commentary about what was possibly said about them while they were in captivity by a certain politician or two.
Feel my family again, but also I'm feeling a little bit pissed with our government at the moment, especially.
Winston Peters said that we knew what we were getting ourselves into, and that New Zealand's taxpayers' money wasn't going to pay to get us out. Was that true? Was that something that was said? Okay, so I'll just maybe add on to what Chloe said about our MPs needing to grow a spine. They should also grow a conscience. And we weren't planning to go to Israel. We were planning to go to Gaza. We were forcibly detained, for the record, in international waters. In some of the boats, they were over 80 nautical miles from the coast. That is, in anybody's book, an illegal action. It's nice to be home, guys. We're so exhausted. We're so sleep deprived. A flat white is definitely on the cards. I'm going to see my cat and have a nap.
It's been definitely a long month, and thank you so much everyone for supporting us while we're away and for coming here to welcome us home. Really appreciate it.
Cute.
Oh.
I say cute because it's just like it's heartwarming.
Yeah, gotta
But
find
it's
the
also kind
small
of
bits. The small bits.
yeah, bittersweet in some ways. What do you think of those comments there, Magenta?
I mean, I don't like. I mean, you could see how offended they were, and they have every right to be offended. I mean, it's one thing to be like, hey, you shouldn't travel to this area because shit's going on, to being like, hey, they're clearly going to give humanitarian aid, which you would have thought, at least historically, New Zealand would have been super keen on. It would have been super down for. But instead, we got just pathetic, almost like, I don't know, petty family drama kind of energy from this government around this whole issue. It's really just I don't know, it just gives, it doesn't feel like something you should see from a politician and their relationship with the country. It feels like something you'd see in, unfortunately, people who have, say, I don't know, toxic friendship environment or family or domestic situations. It's just yuck and disgusting, and the fact that they still deny the fact that it was a like international waters. It was a crime. And we have a government that's just like, nah, it's all right. It's all good. What other crimes are they going to allow? Can't. I'm just really I'm surprised they were that nice, to be honest. I think if I had been fucking kidnapped by the IOF, oh, you know, I would be fucking, I wouldn't hold my tongue. That's for sure. They are better than me. That's in that regard.
Thank you for perfectly segueing into the next little bit. One of the other people that was released this week was Kieran Andrew, who was also detained after one of his boats, being part of the flotilla, was intercepted by Israeli forces and was also detained. Alongside the same time, or the same boat as Greta Thunberg. And he has some really interesting insights, actually. He talks about the things that they did to them in a bit more detail. Some of the harrowing stuff that happened that really shook him. You know, the human rights violations of not giving them their medicines, not allowing them sleep torture, psychological torture, physical torture, in varying degrees. But there's an interview that he did at the airport after he'd just gotten home, essentially. Sort of like, it feels very much like he's just gotten off the plane and he wants to get all of this off of his chest, and it's a really nice, very genuine reaction to what he's just been through, in wanting to get this information out there. But I want to show a few of these moments that he describes, because I think, honestly, he comes across so much. A lot of these people that I've seen speak after they've been detained and they've come back, they have so much strength beyond what I would ever have.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they are still, I would be a broken person, but they have such a grounded sense of morality that they're doing the right thing, they did the right thing, and they were in the right place at the right time. Like, they knew what they were getting themselves into, even if it was probably worse than what they were hoping to experience. But yeah, just so much admiration and strength. I'll play this wee clip here because he talks about the moment that Ben Gravier, I think his name is, walks past them as an attempt of a bit of a publicity stunt to show you're in our hands now and we've got you, and just attempt to be big macho man.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Ben Gavir being wheeled out. So I was there on my knees with my head on the concrete with these guys breathing down our necks, prowling around us. And suddenly I saw some legs go past me and a few more legs go past me. And I dared to look up a bit and I realized, fuck, that's Ben Gavir. But this is, again, I think a good moment for teasing out, showing the kind of failure of their strategy, the kind of gimcrack absurdity of what they were trying to do all the way through. Ben Gavir obviously came because he thought that he could prowl in front of us like a cat in front of mice, and that we'd be cowed, that we'd be terrified. immediately everybody started shouting "Free, free Palestine" and calling him a baby killer and so on. And actually, the Israeli police were really shocked. Everyone was really shocked because they didn't expect that. They expected us to be terrified, and everybody was defiant. And Ben Gvir started shouting at us, "You're terrorists, you're terrorists," and we shouted, "You're a baby killer, free Palestine," and we drowned them out. And then, 10 minutes later, he went away. 10 minutes later, the Israeli police came out and they put these kind of plastic, the things that are used in construction to tie very, very tightly on all our hands. Basically everyone there, because everyone was chanting. So they tied our hands, and then we were there for the next 2 to 3 hours. I was struggling so much with pins and needles. And after about 3 hours there, I was then asked to go inside, and I was then processed through the processing center and sent to jail.
And can you tell me a bit more about
So that's one of his. I still find it very funny. Like, they had so much strength to just be like, "No, fuck you. We're here to protest, and we're gonna protest." Like, and the fact that they were shocked was kind of like, good on them. Like they didn't. They expected them to sort of like, oh, coward. Which I think he did explain that earlier on, that he in the beginning, once they'd been sort of taken off the boats and sort of thrown down, they were all very silent and just sort of like, we don't really know what's going on. But then, sort of got their energy back once they figured out what was going on. The next wee bit as well that I want to show you is later in their detainment, when the international, I think it was the Italian embassy, people come to visit them. The shock that the IDF soldiers have when they're being accused of being war criminals or breaking human rights and things. And the shock that they have for the hatred that people have towards the IDF. I think this is quite interesting. This is a really interesting analysis. Yeah, of what he experienced. I'm going to change this down to 1.25 because it's... Here we go. Try this way.
And frightened that the guards were really trying to taunt us and humiliate us, and they were succeeding. They would, on the first night, we got into our cell, 10 people to a cell, and we all fell asleep. It was exhausting. The whole day had been exhausting. It was 6 a.m. About 10 minutes later, they came and bashed on the door, turned on the lights, said, "Stand up." We got up, and then they laughed, turned off the lights. We went back to sleep. 10 minutes later, they did the same thing. They did that for about 2 hours. On the second day, we basically were like shouting at them, and we were singing, and they were saying, stop singing, and we were refusing, and we were insulting them, and we were calling them every name under the sun. Tommy Marcus, who's a Jewish American guy from New Jersey, was screaming in their faces, "You are Nazis, you're effing Nazis, you're not giving me my medication, you're not giving us our medication, you're denying us water, fuck you all, you're Nazis." And they were terrified. They were genuinely terrified. They were overwhelmed. Later that day, the Italian Consular General came down to visit the cells and to visit the Italian inmates. And they were standing there like frightened schoolchildren because we were screaming at them, telling the Italian Consular General what they had been doing to us. And they looked terrified. And they talked, they were threatening to do X, Y, and Z, but they didn't do anything. So we turned the tables on them psychologically. And I think that is demonstrative of something deeper going on in Israeli society. They're very frightened. They're very ignorant. And they don't understand why the world hates them, but they know that the world does hate them.
Keir Starmer?
So some very, very interesting insights to what he's experienced. Those things just kind of jumped out at me. And then there's lots of things happening. Greta Thunberg's also talked. Well, she hasn't necessarily, but other people have spoken about the things that happened to her. And I think she's done a really good job of not making it about herself and saying, this isn't about what happened to me. Palestinians are going through far worse. Let's talk about that instead. But I'm sure, there's no shortage of people telling. I think one of the ones was IDF wrapped her in an Israeli flag and took pictures of her, and it's basically tortured her in many a different way. So, pretty awful stuff. But I guess the good thing is that they're all home now. It won't be the last of it, but I hope there isn't another flotilla that needs to go. But if there is, all my heart goes to them. I couldn't do what these guys have done. So.
Oh, absolutely. They're so strong. And actually, it's interesting kind of what they were touching on there. There's this little video that I kind of wanted us to have a quick look at. It's real short, but it perfectly ties into what you're talking about. Oh, why is there no sound?
Posting about Palestine doesn't do anything. Show them this.
We have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are on social media.
And then show them this.
Israel is paying upwards of $7,000 to influencers per post to push their Zionist propaganda.
And this.
The number of Americans who view Israel negatively has skyrocketed since 2022.
See, the one thing that oppressors want to control more than land and money and resources and governments is the narrative. Because without controlling the narrative, they cannot maintain the control of the rest of it. The next time someone tells you that posting about Palestine...
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like they're perfectly tied into what we were talking about. Yeah, like it does feel hard when we, come into the chat every day, fucking, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but in Wellington, protesting for Palestine almost every month at this point. But I mean, as you saw there, Netanyahu is afraid. He does know that, we do have power so long as we don't let them wear us down. And I'm just so impressed by their ability to... I think most people in that situation would just be so scared that they would be super quiet and just worried about trying to stay alive. At that point, honestly, with those kind of people, I think they took the right route. If they're gonna kill you, they're gonna kill you. You might as well try to actually, I guess, die by your values rather than live with that bullshit. But yeah, I do think it's a really important reminder to people that these conversations, even though they're just small bits of a bigger picture, they're still important.
Just thinking.
How's that going?
It's hurting.
Yeah. Actually, fair point. Actually, we do have them couple of more than
true.
once a week. You're so right.
That's true. Well, yeah. I was debating whether or not I played the. I think we all know what's going on with Trump.
No,
But
yeah.
There's a ceasefire supposedly. Everyone's celebrating.
Allegedly.
Everyone wants the hostages back. I think it's too early to say too much on it because I think, despite the fact that a deal has been reached, amazing, we're all good to go. I want to see what happens over the weekend. Because, like last week, Winston Peters, his comments aged like milk. I said it. I said it. He said they're not abducted, they haven't been kidnapped, they'll come home ASAP. They've only just come home. They went to jail, and they've only just come home. This is the people that they detained, the Kiwis they detained from the Flotilla. So, ceasefire, I'd like to see what happens in the next 3 days.
Yeah, honestly, after the last ceasefire, I know everyone's very skeptical. And I think we're justified in being skeptical. We see what they're doing. We see the fascism. We see the Nazism. Which we need to find a new word for whatever this version's Nazi is. I guess maybe IDF soldier or whatever. But yeah, it's something that I think is way too early. I mean, hell, I'll be surprised if we know enough by Monday. This will probably be something we have to keep an eye on for quite some time. This is just the beginning of something, potentially.